Thursday, the first few episodes, which will be last Thursday by the time you're watching this. Let's talk Stranger Things season 4. I finally watched it. I had not watched it back in the day because originally I was watching Stranger Things with friends, and then when I moved and was in a different place in my life, I no longer had those people to watch it with, and so I watched season 3 by myself, and I didn't enjoy it as much by myself. And I didn't like some of the storylines in season 3. I didn't like it being like, oh, the big bad Russians. I feel like you need to be a little lower. I didn't like it being like the big bad Russians being the bad guys, and I really didn't like how they treated Will in season 2 and 3. So it just wasn't really my favorite. It was probably like my least favorite season, surprisingly enough, because I know everyone loves the 80s aesthetic from that season, and I do too, but like storyline wise and whatnot, I just didn't really like it, like with Billy being one of the main bad guys being possessed and whatnot. Like, I just didn't really care for it, although Billy's very hot, but everyone romanticizes him now, but he was so racist towards Lucas, so I feel like people only like him because he's hot, you know. But yeah, so I didn't love season 3, so then I took a break and I did not watch season 4 initially when it came out. Initially when it came out, but I finally watched it like last month, and I loved it. Season 4 is probably my favorite season till date, although it's hard to say because I haven't rewatched the other seasons. So I don't know, season 1 was pretty epic, and such a new, fresh thing that I loved season 1. So maybe season 4 and season 1 are like my top two. But yeah, I mean season 2 was good too. That was so sad with Will being possessed in season 2 though. But yeah, anyways, all that to say. I'm all caught up. So yeah, I loved season 4 though so bad. Like, I loved it so bad, it was so good. Like, season 4, episode 4 is one of my favorite episodes of the whole season, when Max is running up that hill. Obsessed. My jaw was just on the ground. I was just like I was gagged. That was finale material, peak material. I loved it so bad, and I love Max so much. I love her. So yeah. And then the finale was great. The twists were great. The only thing that was like about the season is that Will was pretty sidetracked the whole season. Like, he really didn't get much time on anything, and it all started with Will. So I am looking forward to season 5, kind of bringing it back to Will's story and what happened when he was in the Upside Down and all that. But besides that, I thought season 4 was phenomenal. So yeah, so excited for season 5. I also did my Vampire Diaries rewatch for a couple months. So I watched all the later seasons of the Vampire Diaries, which I normally don't get to when I do my rewatch because I'm always starting from season 1. I never get to the later seasons. So I finally did, like, started there from like season 5 and then went till the end of the show, season 8. And it was my first time seeing a lot of those later storylines, and I actually really enjoyed a lot of it in its own right. There were some storylines that I did not like the mermaids, or the heretics, worse than Damon did. Let's be so for real. The same episode that Bonnie finds out that guy killed his family is the same episode she finds out that Damon killed his nephew's pregnant wife. And she's like forgiving towards Damon and is like, no, you're not a bad person, but doesn't give the same leeway to Guy. Like, Guy 100% could have come around and been a great enemies to lovers storyline and had a great redemption arc too, and he was like obsessed with Bonnie. And people were like, oh, he like made her so depressed by leaving her in the time loop world. Like, she was so depressed she didn't want to go on anymore. But like literally before that, before he left, he was telling her they should leave together, and she was like, no, I'm never leaving. I guess we'll just be stuck here forever, and I want nothing to do with you, so we'll live here separate. So like she was already committed to staying there, being alone the whole time anyways, so that wasn't really on him per se. And yeah, I don't know. I think out of the terrible things Damon and Stefan did, like, Guy wasn't really any worse. And Klaus, like the terrible things Klaus did, like let's be real, Guy didn't do anything worse than any of them, to be honest, to be so real, you know. But yeah. Which, spoiler alert for later seasons, I cannot believe some of the things that the Salvatore brothers did, like Damon killing Tyler. That was so unnecessary. That did not need to happen. 100% did not need to happen. And I really liked Tyler, so that actually made me so sad and mad. And then Stefan killing Enzo, I ended up really liking Enzo too. I wasn't seeing it at first. And at first he was so flirty with Caroline, so I was like shipping them. And then him and Bonnie were together, and I didn't get it at first because like they were just together, and then we had to see them get together in flashbacks, so we didn't get the anticipation or the build up. But then after a while of the flashbacks and I've seen them together more and more, I did really ship Enzo and Bonnie too. They were really sweet. And then Stefan killing him, like, there's just certain things the Salvatore brothers did that makes me be like, realistically, these brothers, I feel like, were really kind of unredeemable, but we all love them because they're the protagonists, you know. But look at any of the villains and it's like they're not really worse, to be honest. It's just they're not loved by Elena, you know. But yeah, I've also, and then I went back and rewatched the first 2 seasons of Vampire Diaries too, and now I'm gonna take a break before continuing. And I read another one of the Vampire Diaries books too, but I think I'm gonna pause that till like next year. And now I'm doing my rewatch of Gossip Girl for the legendary, which is a Thanksgiving episode. So I'm currently on season 2, and I don't know if I'll get to the episode before Thanksgiving. I might have to skip some episodes because Thanksgiving's like 4 days away right now. But we'll see. That's the goal. I'm sorry for how much this is shaking, but I don't have anywhere sturdy to put it. Besides that, what else have I been watching? I have some food on the way too, and I just realized my phone's on Do Not Disturb, so I won't know when it comes. Oh, I watched Fleabag, which everyone has talked about forever. It's like a sad girl, coming of age, well, not really coming of age, kind of like sad girl adults living life show, right? Everyone loves it, and I enjoyed it too. I was kind of unsatisfied with the ending. Spoiler alert, the priest and her go separate ways, and I was kind of like bummed out about that. Like, I kind of wanted them to end up together. And then I love when he asks her where she's going when she's talking to the camera, to us, the audience, and she's like disassociating, and he's the first person to ever notice and be like, where are you going? Like, you left just then. I was so obsessed. There's so many lines in that. It's about a vampire who's giving an interview to this guy and going back on his life and how he became a vampire and his love affair. So the main character is Louis, and he's talking about his love affair with this vampire that turned him Lestat, and he's talking about when they have an adopted daughter at one point, a vampire daughter, and just his loves and his family, and how, you know, they were suspicious of him, how his mother thought she saw the devil in his eyes. This is originally back in whatever century, so it's a very religious society at the time, and then it goes up until modern day, or yeah, pretty much modern day. And it was just phenomenal, and there's just so many lines that were so amazing. Like, he talks about his love affair with Lestat, and he's like, he's confessing to a priest, and he's like, I've done this wrong, I've done that wrong. What did he say? He had this great monologue that was like, I lied, or what was it? It was like, I shamed my father, I let down my mother, I failed my brother. It was just such a good monologue. And then based on the time, he had like religious guilt about being gay, so he was like, I laid down with a man, and he was like, and he's got his roots in me, spindly roots, and he was doing this like hand motion with it, and it was just amazing. I was just so gagged. So yeah, I'm obsessed, and so I started reading the books, but it's like classic vampires. Like the first, Anne Rice is like the first person to like, that we know of, to like make vampires like kind of like taboo, like protagonist, like messy, like antagonist vibes. Like, I don't know, but just so many vampires of today, like you can see the influence of Interview with the Vampire. So I loved that. I also watched Wednesday season 2, and I thought it wasn't as good as the first one, but I did still quite enjoy it. But I want Enid and Wednesday together like real bad. I shipped them together so bad, and I was sad at the ending. But I did like Tyler's storyline again, okay, but it was kind of like too much going on. The mermaid's storyline I felt like was so pointless, and if they had just asked Wednesday for help in the beginning, like it never would have happened, so that annoyed me. But yeah, Tyler was hot, him and Wednesday had good chemistry, but I want Enid and Wednesday together to be endgame, you know what I'm saying? I also watched the Interview with the Vampire movie, and it was not as good as the show at all. It's with Brad Pitt, and has some shady moments that didn't age well. But I did like this moment when he was talking about going to the cinema for the first time and seeing the sunrise again for the first time after not being able to see the sunrise as a vampire for so long, and then how he could see it on the screen. So it was just a really beautiful moment. I watched the movie On Swift Horses, which is a like sports betting movie following Daisy Edgar Jones, my girl, love her, from Normal People, and Jacob Elordi. This is like, I was wanting to watch this for a while, one because it had Daisy, but two because it's kind of like a gay cowboy-esque type movie. Both Daisy's character and Jacob's characters are queer, and they meet because he's the brother of her husband, and her husband wants her to sell her house, but she doesn't want to sell it, so she takes up sports betting on horses to get the money to tell him that she sold her house and she's going to live with him and whatnot. So she gives him the money, but it's not from the house, so she still has the place to go if anything happens, and has the sentimental attachment to it. It was a pretty boring movie, to be honest. Not a ton happened, but I did like seeing Daisy again, and yeah, it did have some good moments, like this one moment when Jacob wrote to her and was like, I thought I saw something that we had in common that you knew about, but maybe not, because she hadn't realized yet. And yeah, it was sweet. I also watched We Were Liars, and I read the book too, or listened to it on audio, and I thought it was good. I thought it was emotional. I thought the actors were great, and one of the boys, who's a main character, is actually gonna play young Cambridge in Sunrise on the Reaping next year. forward to that. And I know he can act from We Were Liars. It was really emotional. And then I saw all these people edit the clips of them in the show to the Taylor Swift song when the lyrics go, I'm combing through the braid of time or lies. I'll never leave, never mind. Our field of dreams engulfed in fire. Your arson's match. Your, what is it, sovereign sigh or something? I'll still see it till I die. The loss of my. So I've seen all the edits of that song, and it's just so perfect, so perfect. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I also watched the final season of The Summer I Turned Pretty, and I thought it was good. I loved the camaraderie of watching the show weekly with all the fans and everybody being team Conrad versus team Jeremiah and reacting to all the episodes and having memes afterwards and all that. I thought was so fun and so great. And I see they're having a movie coming out now, a spin-off movie, so I'm looking forward to that. And it just has such like girlhood vibes, so I love that. And now the new one for me that's kind of like that vibe is Maxton season 2. I'm watching right now. It's being released weekly. It'll be complete by the time this comes out, and it's that same thing. Like, I'm watching all the edits every week after the episode comes out and seeing all the beautiful edits, the memes, everything, the references, and I'm just loving it. And the acting is so good in Maxton Hall, which is like a prep school, enemies to lovers, drama series. I will say season 2 I'm not liking as much as season 1, but it's still really good. I think the way it's shot, they're too heavy on the blurred background this season. It's good for some scenes, but it doesn't need to be every scene. So I feel like they're doing that overkill. But when they all dressed up as like the fairies, it was used well. And that episode, that was beautiful, beautiful scenes, and it was giving June and Carden imagery from the Folk of Air trilogy, in my opinion. But yeah, the other thing I feel like is there's too much bright light this season, whereas last season I feel like it was more natural. But yeah, that's what I've been watching. Oh, and I watched Wicked Part 2 and loved it. The music, great. The cast, great. The vibes, great. I love the callback to the musical poster for the ending scene. And I just